What's up, YouTube? Feels like forever since I've done a video. I'm so happy to be back. We are finally all moved into our new house, and today we are gonna repot Manny the Monstera. He made the move pretty well, but now since he's had a few new leaves show up in the last couple months, I think his little 10-inch nursery pot is a little too small for him now. So we're gonna upgrade him to a slightly bigger nursery pot. This gives me an opportunity to add my old but nice moss pole that I made myself a while ago. So let's get started. All right, so I got the new pot that he's going in. I actually do make my own aeroid mix. I do have a video for that. I'll leave up a little card up above. I like to use a very chunky mix with lots of organic parts to it. I have charcoal, I have bark, I have mushroom compost. Sometimes I'll even add worm castings as either a top dressing or mixed in with my soil. I like to recreate the natural state which your plant comes from. So if it comes from the jungle or the jungle floor, you think of lots of insects, dead leaves, dead debris, mushrooms, alive and decaying. So I like to recreate it as best I can. So we got a little bit of soil on the bottom. I will have to add obviously a lot more. So we're gonna take our little pests out. I'll add that afterwards. This might be a little difficult. This is probably the biggest plant I have repotted in the last few years. Luckily our new space is quite larger, so I'm actually able to do this right on our dining room table. So I'm gonna whoopsie. So a sign that your plant may need to be repotted is you got roots growing out the bottom. If you feel around the side of this pot, you can feel it bulging in a lot of spots where the roots are growing. I'm just gonna squeeze around the pot, try and loosen it up. Let's try and pull out the bottom. So, woohoo! That might be a little loose now. Nope. If you guys are interested in how I take care of Manny the Monstera, I do have a video, Monstera Care 101. There we go. So as you can see, lots of roots. So I'm gonna set it in a pot and just see. Yeah, so I'm gonna add my moss pole to one of the sides, and then I'll eventually tie my aerial roots to the pole. I'm gonna add my pole so I can kind of know where to position the plant properly. I did make this moss pole myself. It's all out of wood and sphagnum with twine holding it together. As this is all organic material, this will decay over time. So probably the next time I repot Manny, the bottom of this will more likely be all decayed and rotten. So next I'll probably upgrade to a PVC type of moss pole. I'm gonna put the base of the moss pole right at the bottom of the pot, so there's more soil and compaction, so moss pole will be nice and sturdy. And a moss pole acts as a tree or host in the jungle. So in the jungle, your Monstera will be climbing a host, it's a semi-epiphyte. So it'll climb the host, it'll attach itself to the host with its aerial roots, and then it'll send aerial roots as well down to the soil to get more water and nutrients. And as your Monstera grows higher up in the jungle canopy, you'll get more fenestrations to let the light shine through to your bottom leaves that may not have any fenestrations, more juvenile plant perhaps. So I know where the moss pole is going to go, and I'm going to loosen off all the soil around the root ball, because I want all these new roots that are kind of root bound to get more established in a slightly bigger pot. I didn't want to go too much bigger with the pot, because I didn't want all the soil to stay wet for too long and eventually cause root rot and damage to the whole root system. There we go. So I do have the root ball pretty detangled. There's lots of roots now. I think he's, yep, touching the bottom. Now I'm gonna add some soil around the moss pole base to keep it somewhat sturdy as I fiddle with the rest of the plant. I think I would suggest, if you have to repot a big plant like this, getting some help perhaps. This is quite the adventure. Okay, so now we got our roots exposed, the root ball is in the pot. I have noticed that the soil is kind of moist, so once we're all said and done, I will water lightly with plant vitamins. You can find a link to these products down below in the description. It's 100% organic plant vitamins derived from fish and natural organic elements. Use SALT210 at checkout for a nice little discount. Okay, so now we're going to add some soil. I do have a extra 6-inch pot as my scoop, but it might just be easier to use my hands, to be honest. And I'm just gonna get all the soil tucked in all the little crevices in the pot. I'm gonna slightly compact the soil around the plant, but when it comes to the soil around the actual moss pole, I am going to pack it tighter. Remember, when you're repotting, you want to do it when your plant's got lots of energy and producing new growth. This plant may need another repot next spring. Okay, so we're going to take aerial root. This is the longest one. There is twine on here that I could potentially just tuck the roots behind it. I can try that, or if not, I do have some twine and my trusty pruning shears. You can find links to those products down below. In the beginning, you will have to train your plant to climb the pole and to attach its aerial roots. But once you get your first few roots established, your plant is very smart and it'll figure it out. So what I did here is I took that aerial root you just saw right here, and I just wrapped it around and I tucked it in behind the twine here. So this root here, I was able to tuck right behind this piece of twine. After it grows a little bit more, you can start training it around. See new growth right there. I'll let it grow a little bit longer, and then I will attach it to the moss pole. And then afterwards, I'll give the moss pole a really good spray down. So now that the plant is all set in the pot, we're gonna water with some Thrive. So I'm gonna take some water from my fish tank, as I always like to water my plants with fish tank water, as you get all the extra nutrients from the fish. So I'm gonna take 4 baby bottles worth of water. So here we got our Thrive. And shake it all around. And I know this looks like iced tea, but do not drink this. It'll taste bad. You might start growing a new limb or something. So I'm gonna add my water. I'm gonna try and get all the soil. So I do have about 1 liter of water right now. That's all I'm going to add. Okay, so now that Manny is watered, I'm gonna let him dry out completely before giving him another drink, or unless he shows signs of being thirsty. As he's in a very bright location now. I got some east and south ish facing windows, so my plants require a lot more watering as there's a lot more sun and light. He doesn't actually get direct light. Right now he's been living on the top of our fridge because I didn't know where to put him. There is a spot way up above. I might stick him up there if I can find a ladder big enough and a couple more lights up there. Thanks for hanging out with me while we repotted my favorite houseplant, Manny the Monstera. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now that we're settled in, we got new videos coming out every Friday. And don't forget to check us out on Instagram at Salt2Plantco. And we'll catch you guys next week. Adios.